Hey, hello, friends, colleagues, and Azure community at Microsoft Build 2026. My name is Jeff Smith. I am a product manager at Oracle. So happy to be here today to share our AI story and how we can make our Oracle database um, useful in serving your business. So your data stored in our databases goes very well with Microsoft's AI platform. And I'm joined here today by my colleague at Microsoft, Ram Kakani. Ram, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey everyone, hope you guys are having fun at Build. I'm Ram Kakani, a product manager at Oracle Database at Azure team in Microsoft.
And I cover MCP servers for the Oracle database at Oracle. So together we should be able to do some damage today. So let's move to the next slide.
Let's look at basically how it all comes together. As you can see here, you could build business-aware enterprise agents that are AI ready with Oracle data. There are four plates, as you can see, where you have AI at the top, the dev surface, Azure AI Foundry, Copilot Studio, GitHub Copilot, Pro code or low code, same runtime. Below that is your intelligence layer, where you have Foundry IQ for reasoning and grounding, Fabric IQ for historical analytics, and Work IQ to deliver this into your Outlook, Teams, Excel, and also bring your work context. Turn on what your scenario needs. Then you have Oracle Atlas. You'll see two patterns. Oracle MCP Server for live reads, Fabric mirroring for historical or cross-source analytics if you have more than one source of data. And same agent code that runs either ways. Underneath all of that is the governance plane, not bolt-on. Entra Agent ID gives every agent a first-class identity with least privilege scoping. Agent 365 gives you that tenant-wide inventory and governance. Oracle data stays safe in Oracle. That's enterprise ready. Let's see now how it all comes together and let's see what the dev stack looks like. Four pieces of dev stack, if you will. One is the Foundry agent service that hosts agents, and the MCP client which provides your native MCP support and points to any MCP server, in this case, Oracle MCP server. And the next one is the GitHub Copilot or Copilot Studio, depending on your choice, pro code versus low code. All of that, as we said, is governed by the Microsoft Entra Agent ID and Agent 365 governance. As you can see, it's just few pieces of code that will take you to life with an agent. Let's see now, Jeff will take you through the MCP server.
Thanks. MCP, so Model Context Protocol, really came onto the scene in late 2024 and caught on like wildfire all throughout 2025. We had MCP servers for Oracle AI Database since July, and now for cloud, both in our cloud at Oracle Cloud Infrastructure and for Oracle databases running at Azure, we offer managed, hosted MCP servers native into our cloud environments. So as a customer or a partner, you can come in and just define the characteristics of the MCP server, what tools you want to be made available, how the authentication is going to work, and we run that for you at no additional cost. So the only thing you're going to be paying for is using your database or using the AI tooling. The MCP server itself is no cost. So the steps that you're going to need to do to set up the connectivity between the various Azure IQ pieces and the actual data in your database. We're going to start off with the database connection. So just like anytime you're working with any database, you generally provide a set of credentials, and it's these credentials that basically shape the view of the data that the AI will see. So you can use a proxy user that's tied to your identity domain, and that can be used to determine like what type of data you can see in the tables or whether the tables are even visible at all. But once you have the connection defined, you can go ahead and create the MCP server, and you're going to point it to the identity domain. And this is where you're going to have your Azure Entra ID users defined. And then let's say Ram has an account. I'm going to add him to an MCP server group that will give him privileges to connect to and talk to our MCP server using his existing Azure Intra ID login. At that point, I'm going to define the MCP tools. So tools are sort of the APIs that allow clients or the MCP or the agents that are speaking MCP protocol to our server. This is where they can request things to be done on their behalf. And probably the most well-known pattern is natural language to SQL. So Ram in his demo, I think, is probably going to say something like, hey, Mr. AI wizard, show me how many widgets we sold last week. And the LLM will translate that into a query statement that our database will understand, and it'll submit that query to be ran through our MCP tool. Before you can do that, though, we're going to register the agent as an MCP client, and that's what allows the OAuth 2 workflow to work. So the first time you'll go to do this, which we probably won't show in the demo because it's kind of boring, but Ron would log in. We would verify the Azure Intra ID credentials. He'll be asked for permission to grant the agent to act on his behalf. It's called an OBO token. And then at that point, the agent can go grab an access token using the OAuth 2 workflow, and you never see the login stuff ever again. So as long as ROM's identity has the group membership required to interact with the resources on the Oracle side, our MCP server and the database, good to go to ask questions. And the nice thing is we will propagate ROM's identity in the database itself. So ROM could be using an agent talking to an Oracle database via AI, and the Oracle database will see ROM as himself. We'll see ROM's Azure Intra ID user. So in the security side, we can set up all of the very fancy Oracle security rules.
Here's a problem statement. An AP team has asked a developer, the invoice volume is up 30% on flat headcount, cycle times past 45 days, and data sitting in Oracle database, and dashboards tell them what happened. They need an agent that moves the work. And the budget that they have is weeks, not quarters, but weeks. Let's see how we solve it, right? Same agent, same Oracle data, zero ETL, built-in Foundry, wired with Foundry IQ and Work IQ, talking to Oracle database through Oracle MCP server. I'll start with my Azure portal. Here is my Oracle database at Azure. As you can see, there are a slew of database services that Oracle offers through Azure portal, natively integrated autonomous AI database, Exadata database, Exadata database on exascale infrastructure, base database service, and Golden Gate. For this demo purposes, we have our supply chain data hosted in Exadata database, and in this VM cluster in UK South. As you can see, the cluster is provisioned in a VNet and subnet in your virtual network. Now, here is Foundry, where I'll go build an agent. So clicking on here will take you to Foundry portal. I've already got that opened. Here is my Foundry portal. I'll go to build. Now, you can technically go create an agent from scratch here, give it a name, and continue through that. It's self-serve. I'll just go take for the timing. Let's go look at an agent that I already built. Here is an example agent where you have account payable analyst agent, for example, that is actually responsible to provide all of the insights for the AP. Now, you can see the remote MCP server that's already pre-provisioned and is connected into the tools. Let me also show you how do we do that. So you could go create tools. Now in this, you could connect a tool. So from the catalog, quickly go look at Oracle. You have Oracle Remote MCP Server. You'll go create that. You'll provide the remote MCP server endpoint, the parameters for the region and the OSET, and the authentication, as Jeff mentioned, can be key-based or OAuth-based. And you'll just hit connect. So here is a MCP server connection that's already connected here in the tools. You can see this MCP server is provisioned in UK South and with the connection ID and is currently used in these two agents. Now that we are here, let's also look at other tools that we require, right? One is basically the Foundry IQ and the Work IQ. Here is our Work IQ that is connected to, again, to the agent that we'll go demonstrate. But same thing, right? You go to tools, you connect a tool, you look for Work IQ here, and all you have to do is you'll use the Work IQ email MCP server. Now, let's go look at our agent. So here is an agent that is responsible for our fictitious company Java entity. And as you can see, it's connected to the remote MCP server for the connected to the Oracle database. The Work IQ email is already configured, as well as the Fabric IQ for historical trends. And then for the knowledge base, you have it basically have Java knowledge IQ that is created here in the knowledge. And if you can look at this, you have both the compliance reports here that are stored in Microsoft OneLake and the vendor policies and our documents, contractual documents that are stored in Azure Blob Storage, which will be used as our knowledge sources that will power this knowledge base and that will power the Java agent. So let's go look at our agent in action. Now, the first one that I'm going to ask the agent is to show the last 90 days worth of invoices that are unpaid and are over 50,000 and include the reasons and age. Here is the consent. Authenticated. Now you'll see that the agent is connecting to the MCP server and will execute a bunch of queries that are pre-populated for you and to get the data. As a developer, I used to write 50 lines of boilerplate code in OCI SDK setup and connections to get this, but look at this, the magic of MCP live. Yep. So as you can see, you'll see there are a few suppliers which have unpaid invoices over 50,000. Acme Corp has 2, and others have 1 each, and VendorX has 3. Right now, what happened? Let's go look at how these unpaid invoices are, and do they have any PO mismatches or any duplicates, and which of them can be released or which of them can be held. That's my second prompt. Here, you would see the Foundry IQ in action, where the agent is looking at the vendor agreements, looking at the policies, compliance policies, and is basically trying to analyze the delays and along with the duplicates. So you always need to approve each query with the human in the loop, basically validating that it is talking to the right tables, getting the right data that is required, and it has the right authorization and authentication.
Thank you for saying that, Rom. Just because the stuff is fast and it looks good doesn't mean you can take your eyes off or your hands off. I like to tell people that you're the actual pilot, not the co-pilot.
Good one. I like that.
I'll pretend I was original with that one.
And that's so true because the agent is talking to your mission critical enterprise data residing in Oracle databases. So you better be conscious about what the agent is accessing, why is it accessing, and what's the outcome of it. All right. Looks like the agent is retrieved and the right recommendations. As you can see, it basically is reasoning over all of the invoices and against the documents that are supplied with the knowledge base and is basically looking at a few invoices. Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right. Now you can see best candidate for likely safe to release is Acme Group, only after resolving the duplicate resolution. Now I can go ahead and cancel the duplicate payment and let the my AP head release the order for Acme or invoice for Acme. So what I'll do, I'll go ahead and put my work IQ at work. So as you can see, let me go ahead and use my third prompt. Here's my third prompt. What I'm saying is, hey, look at all my ongoing discussions and emails about Acme Group for these specific invoices, summarize what was agreed, and then draft a reply to James Chen with the latest on the same thread about the cancellation. The agent is now looking to search. So I'm approving the search parameters. Again, it's trying to retrieve that message. Additional search parameters with filters to find the right conversation. It'll then look for creating that draft message. There you see, it's basically created that draft message where the Acme Group order was submitted in error and basically delete the cancel that duplicate and then release it. This will generate a draft in your Outlook that's connected that you can just go ahead and hit send after validating the right message. Over to you, Jeff.
I mean, that's the real magic. It wrote the email for us and it dealt with the human stuff I'm not good at. This is my first opportunity to speak at this awesome event today. So I just want to thank everyone watching for that opportunity. I'm easy to find online. You can just Google that Jeff Smith if you want. But I do want to leave you, or we do want to leave you some resources you can follow up on. We have a community here on LinkedIn that specializes in all of our friends running Oracle Database at Azure. And if you're looking for pricing or technical details, you can follow the third link there, those QR codes. I also want to invite you to work with us to set up a call. Our engineers will happily show you how you can get your traditional on-premises Oracle databases running in Oracle at Azure. And I would love for them to also help you set up our MCP servers so you can get your agents working just like Ram showed today.
Thank you, everyone.